Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the DaVinci Resolve tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 6, where I'll be showing you guys about the source window. Okay, so what is the usage of source window? In last class, we have learned about editing your workspace in which you're going to work on. But here in this particular chapter, we are going to learn how the source window is useful. You guys do have a basic idea about what it is, but here we'll be learning about this particular thing in detail. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the workspace of the DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so here, the first thing what you're going to do is you're going to go to resources, and already over here, you guys can see that I already do have this particular videos right over here on my screen. Let's say I want to bring up a video which already have an audio with it. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import that. So in that case, I need to go here, and from here, let's come to the file here in my resource file. Let's go to the videos, and over here under videos, you guys can see that this particular videos actually do have an audio with it. Okay, so how I am able to understand that this particular video do have an audio attached with it? So if you guys take a look, you guys can see the videos which I had already imported, they don't have this audio sign just underneath on the left hand side. Okay, but the video which do have an audio with itself, they do have this particular audio sign. Okay, so to import, you just need to drag and drop it over here into your media page. Okay, and once I'm done here in the media page, I have explained to you guys about this cut page as well. Let's directly come over here into my edit page. Okay, and I have already told you that into the edit page, we'll be spending most of our time. Okay, so over here now, as you guys can see, I am here over here in my edit page, and this is basically the source window, and this one is the final preview window. Okay, here you will be able to see the final video which you have edited over here into the timeline. Okay, now let's come here on top. Let's go to my media pool, and from here, if I do want to take out this particular video into my timeline, I will just double click this particular video, and once I double click in my source window, as you guys can see, I do have various options. Okay, so over here you guys can see that I do have a lot of options right over here. Okay, so I have already told you in the cut page that how you will be able to mark in and mark out. Let's say this video is actually quite long. Okay, but I don't want the whole part of this video. So if I come back up over here, you guys can see the total duration of the video over here. Okay, on the top corner. Okay, and here it's 38 seconds and 26 frames. Let's say I do have this video, and now what I want to do is I want to check, or I want to take only 15 seconds of this particular video. So for that, the first thing what I need to do is I need to mark in and mark out the point which one I do want to take. Okay, so in that case, what I need to do is I will just play this thing up over here using the space button. And let's say from here, from the 5 seconds mark, what I'm going to do is I am going to put on the mark in. Okay, so to mark in, what you guys can do is you guys can click on I from your keyboard. And once you click on I, let's say I will just play this one again, and I will just wait for it to go something around 15 seconds. Let's take a 10 seconds frame over here. Okay, so here you guys can see now it's 15 seconds and 13 frames. Okay, so now let's click on O from my keyboard, and now you guys can see if I play this thing up, there are two small dots. Okay, that shows that what is the mark in point and what is the mark out point. And now if I just come here, if I take this video and if I just drag this video over here into my timeline right now, only that particular timing video will be imported over here. And now if you just take a look over here, In your project window, you guys can see that in the project window, the total duration of the video is 10 seconds and 2 frames. Okay, so here you guys can see both the video and the audio over here is being imported at the same time. Okay, so here you guys can see I do have the video and the audio, and you guys can actually detach the audio. Let's say if you don't want the audio, in that case you want to actually change it, or you want to put up a different audio, in that case you guys can also do that. Okay, so well, there are different ways of how you will be able to do that. First, you have to unlink this. Okay, if you do, or if you don't want to enable, if you want to disable the clip, you guys can come here and you guys can see that you guys have just disabled the whole clip which was selected, including the audio and the video itself. Again, right click, and now I will just click on enable clip. Okay, and again, now over here in my preview window, I am able to see the changes. Okay, so if I come here again, I will just right click, and over here you guys can see there are a lot of options which you guys can work on with. Okay, if you want to normalize the audio levels, you guys can just click on to this and it will just normalize the level over here. Okay, if you want to detach the audio, you guys can come here and you guys can just click on to this edit mode, and you guys can actually select and duplicate. If you do want to override, insert, replace, we guys can also do that. So we'll be learning about these three things as well in detail, because sometimes it is quite important. Okay, so once we are working, you will see that how important this particular thing is. Okay, so now I do have imported this particular part, and now let's delete this one. So let's say now I want to directly import only the video. I don't want the audio to be here. So once you're over here into your source panel, if you guys take a look just underneath here, you do have two options. Okay, so this first option over here, if you come here, if you click onto this one and if you drag and drop into the timeline, you guys can see now I am only able to move my video part. Okay, so from my source panel, I only got the video, so I didn't get the audio from here. Okay, so I will just delete this one, and now the same way, let's say you do have a video, and from that video you just only want the audio, you don't want the video footage. In that case, just beside this video option, you do have this audio option as well. So now if you drag this one and bring it down, you guys can see the video footage is not imported, but the audio footage is imported only. Okay, so that is the way. So if you want to import both of it, just make sure you drag and drop from the source panel itself. Okay, make sure you drag and drop it from the source panel directly. Okay, but if you do want anything individually, you guys can come here and you guys can check both of these points out. Okay, so now I do have this particular thing right over here, and now if you guys can see, this is the mark in point and the mark out point. Okay, so now let's say you have a footage of 10 seconds. Okay, so now you do have a footage of 10 seconds, but what you want to do is you do want to increase the timing. Okay, you want to change the in point and the out point. So there are different ways of how you will be able to do that. You guys can come here and you guys can just click onto this one and you guys can just move this thing, and you guys can see you are actually able to change the out point. Okay, and also the same way you guys need to hold and drag the in point as well. Okay, so once I have done that, if I come here and if I now import this video and the audio together, you guys can see the total duration of the video which I have imported, it's now 17 seconds and 17 frames. Okay, so this is the way of how you will be able to change the in point and the out point. And again, let's delete this particular part, and here you guys can see just underneath you do have a lot of options. Okay, so this one is if you do want to go to the first frame of the video which is starting, you guys can just click on to this particular icon. Okay, and here you guys can see this playhead is again at the starting of your video. Okay, and the same way, if you just click on to this particular icon, it will take you to the last frame of the video which you have into your source monitor or into your source panel. So if I click over here, you guys can see this particular icon from the first frame, it is over there in the last frame again. So manually, if you do want to move, you guys can move it quite like this. Okay. So once you have done this particular part, you guys can see if you do want to play, you guys can just click onto this play button, and there are a few shortcuts. Okay, so if you do want to pause and play from your keyboard itself, you guys can use the space bar from your keyboard, and it is used for pausing and playing both. But if you are doing it over here into your PC, this is the play button and this is basically the pause button. And just beside that, here, if you want your video to be played in a reverse manner, you guys can just click onto this option and your video will be played into a reverse manner. Okay, and now the same way, let's say I want to decrease the in point and the out point, and the total duration of my video now is 5 seconds. Okay, so now if I just click on to play in a loop, okay, so this is the loop option, and now if I just play this thing up, you guys will be able to see that once this video will end, again it will start playing from the first. Okay, so now I will just wait for it to finish. Let's just bring it right over here and let's wait for it to be played again over here in the source panel. So if I turn this loop on, it will keep on playing the footage which I have it in my source panel. Okay, so over here I will just pause this thing right now. And also here you guys can see you do have this option called match frame. Okay, so let's say I will come here and let's import this video. Okay, so I will come here, I will just import this particular video, and what I'm going to do is I will come here and let's say I will just take another video. Okay, so you guys will be able to understand it in a better way. So I will come here and what I'll do is I will just change the in point over here. Okay, so let's say I will just change the in point and I will just move the out point a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I am going to import this footage. So I will just click over here. I have just imported this particular footage which I have over here. And now what I'm going to do is the footage which I have over here, I want to see where that particular footage is. Okay, so let's say I do want to make some changes over here. Okay, so in this particular frame, let's say I want to put on some text on the side, and the same thing I want to view over here as well. Okay, so if you want to match the frame, okay, in that case you guys can just click onto this option, and here you guys can see I have matched the frame over here in my preview window as well. Okay, so now let's say I have this particular footage right over here and I need to make some changes over here in my preview window as well. So in that case, I don't have to just scroll and find the exact place. Okay, sometimes it might be tough. Okay, so in that case, if I want to have the same thing which I have it here in my source panel, I also want to see the same thing in my project panel as well. All I need to do is I need to come here and I need to click on match frame, and you guys can see I do have the same frame in my source panel as well as in my project panel. Okay, so that is how it basically works. Okay, and after that, here you guys can see that you do have the mark in option, and here you do have the mark out option as well. Okay, so I have already told you about mark in and the mark out option. And also, let's say if you do have any audio, okay, if you only do have any audio, or let's say I will come here and I have this video with audio. Now what I want to do is in my source panel, I don't want to see this video, I want to see the audio waves. Okay, I want to see how the audio which I do have, what is the wave over there, I want to check that thing basically. So in that case, I will come here, and here you guys can see that I do have a particular option, and just beside that you do have a drop down arrow. Okay, so I will just click on that arrow, and what I'm going to do is I am going to go and click on audio track. Okay, so let's come here and let's just delete this one for now. and I will come here, drag this one over here, and now I want to see this audio. So if I just come here and if I play, you guys can see now I'm able to see the audio waves over here. Okay, and also the same way, if I do want to take the audio a little bit, I can come here and I can take the audio little bit as well. Okay, so here I am only able to see the audio waves, and also if you want to see multicam, and if you do have any offline videos, you guys can come here and check those out as well. Okay, so there are different options regarding that. And just beside that, here you do have other options. Here you will be able to clear all the recently viewed clips, and if you do want to zoom the audio waveform, you guys can zoom that, and if you want to show the full clip audio waveform, you guys can also do that from here. Okay, if you want to see all the video frames which you have over here, you guys can also see all the video frames over here. All you need to do is you need to come here and make sure you tick that mark out. Okay, if you do want to turn it off, again come here and click on that again, and it will be turned off again as well. Okay, so that was about the source monitor. So now let's move on to this particular options right over here. You guys can see this is the insert clip option. This is basically the override option, and lastly you do have the replace clip option. Okay, so let me show you what is the usage of that. So here you guys can see now the total duration of the video which I have over here in my timeline is 5 seconds and 8 frames. Okay, so let's say what I want to do is I want to come over here, bring my playhead in between this video, and now I want to take this particular video here in my source panel. Okay, so let's mark in one point. So I will just click on I. Let's move this one and let's place this one right over here. Okay, so I will just click on O to mark the out point. And what I want to do now is I want to insert this particular clip in between. Okay, so if I do want to insert this particular clip in between both of this footage, what it will basically do is it will just cut that and it will insert my video where my playhead is. Okay, so once I do have this video, if I come here and if I click on insert clip, or if I click on F9 from my keyboard, it will be inserted. Okay, here you guys can see the footage which I have chose, it is being already inserted. And now here this one is an individual part of the video, this is an individual part, and this is the third clip which I just inserted. So let's click on Ctrl Z to go back again. And now you guys can see again, this is a single frame altogether as well. Okay, so that is about this. Okay, let's come here and let's try to understand about this override option. Okay, so if I come here, let's say in last class I have showed you about editing the workspace. Okay, so here let's say I want to insert the clip again. Okay, and now you guys have seen that the total duration of my video before was 5 seconds and 8 frames. Okay, but once I have inserted this particular clip, the total duration of my video have changed from 5 seconds to 6 seconds and 21 frames. Okay, so the total duration of the video have also been changed. Okay, so this is in case of inserting. But if I come here and the same footage, what I want to do is I want to overwrite the same clip over here, and the shortcut key for that is F10. So in that case, if I click on overwrite, you guys can see the total duration of my video didn't change, but what it did is the thing which I had over here, it actually overwrited over this particular place. Okay, so the total duration didn't change, but the content over here in my timeline have been changed. Okay, so you just need to understand that I do have my same video over here, but what it did is it basically overwrited, or it is just copy pasted on top of my video. So in that case, I won't be able to see the video which I had over here last, but I will be able to see this particular video on top. Okay, so that is the about overwriting, as you guys can see right over here, and I will just go on Ctrl Z. Okay, so now the same way, if I come here and if I click And now the same footage, what I want to do is I want to replace the clip. Okay, so I'll just select this particular clip, and over here in my source monitor, I will have this particular clip over here. And now if I just click on replace clip, what it will basically do is it will just replace the whole clip which I had before. Okay, so now here you guys can see, now I do have the whole footage over here, and you guys can also see now the total duration of the video didn't change. Okay, so if I just click on Ctrl Z, this is the video which I had, and the total duration is 5 seconds and 8 frames. But now here my mark-in point is 1 second and 13 seconds. Okay, but if I come here, if I select this particular footage, and now from my source panel, if I come here and if I just click on replace clip, you guys can see the duration remains the same, but my mark in and the mark out point is not basically the same. So it just replaced the clip with the same duration. Okay, so that is basically the usage of inserting clip, overriding, and replacing clip. Okay, and the shortcut key for that is F9, F10, and F11 respectively. Okay, so I will come here. I hope you guys to have gotten basic idea about how important the source window or the source monitor is. Okay, and there are different ways of how you will be able to use these three options if you do want to use it right from here. Okay, so in that case, you guys can go to edit, and over here you guys can see that you do have the insert option, the override option, the replace option. Okay, and also you do have the place on top. Here you do have the ripple override, fit to fill, and also a pen to end of timeline option as well. Okay, so these are the few options which you can use over here. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys to have understood this class on how you will be able to use the source window in the DaVinci Resolve. So I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we'll be learning more about the timeline. Okay, so in the edit page, this timeline is the most important part because this is where you guys will be stacking up all of your footage, all of your text, different kind of effects. You'll be doing all those things. Okay, the most of the time you will be spending over here into this page. Okay, so I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we'll be learning more about DaVinci itself. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.